Hey everybody, welcome back to Life with Lilo. It is Sunday and it is time for another recap of Real Housewives of Atlanta. This is the reunion and it is part 2. Alright, so this reunion wasn't, well, not this reunion, it's the same damn reunion, but this part, I should say, was not as entertaining as part 1 was. This one was kind of like, meh. It had its moments, but it really wasn't as entertaining as last week's reunion, but we're going to talk about it anyway. So, it opened up where it left off last week. Where everybody was just fussing, and I don't even know who was arguing with who. Child, it was seem like everybody was just arguing all together. It was just like they just was like start arguing, and then everybody started arguing because that's what they did. Then all of a sudden, everybody got quiet, and then Andy started talking about the receipts that Portia had sent him, and he was saying like in the text message that Kenya was saying that Cynthia didn't have her back and how she wished that Cynthia had her back the way Portia did for some situation or whatever like that, and that Eva had Cynthia hypnotized or whatever, and Cynthia was like, I'm not Cynthia, Eva hypnotized, what? And Kenya was like, girl, that ain't no, that's all you got. And so then Portia one day explained the story. And she was saying, like, so Kenya was talking to that, Cynthia was talking to that bottom bitch. And I was like, bottom bitch? And, like, honestly, when I sat in this chair, it had hit me that, oh, she was talking about Eva. Because I said, that's the nickname she going to get that girl. She don't see it for her at all. Oh, child, bottom bitch. But anyway, she was saying, like, from some conversation that, Portia called Kenya and was like, girl, you watching this episode? How Eva always saying stuff and she don't remember? And Kenya was saying like, yeah, she always forgetting or whatever. And then something. So then Kenya was like, but that ain't dogging her. And so then Portia was like, but yeah. But then you called me on the phone and was like, yeah, she said, I'm going to get back at Cynthia or some shit like that. And Eva was like, I'm not Eva. Kenya was like, girl, I don't know what you're talking about. And so she denies that she talked on the phone with Portia. I don't know. I believe Portia because Kenya has a track record of lying. So I don't know. I gotta go with Portia. I really do gotta go with Portia on this one. I don't know. We wasn't there. We are not privy to the telephone conversation, but for some strange reason, I believe Portia over Kenya. Then Cynthia didn't even say anything about what was in the text messages or the alleged telephone conversation. She just wanted to focus on how she always in the middle and she friends with Kenya, she friends with Eva, and if she want to talk something, if she want to talk to them or some shit like that, it's going to get misconstrued and all this other stuff, and how everybody talk about each other behind their backs, and one minute you this person's friend this season, the next season you not their friend, so you just don't know. So I was like, oh, but you're not going to even point out or even talk about what was in the text messages or over the phone? Because she know, child, bye. But anyway, Portia was basically like, okay, well, cheers to your relationship. And of course, Nene pulled up her glass and cheered too. And I'm not sure how it got on Nene and Cynthia, but Andy asked about their relationship, but I'm not sure how he got, maybe he just asked the question. So he asked how their relationship was, and Nene was saying like their relationship, they just taking baby steps. They are not as close as they used to be because they used to call each other all day, talk like good girlfriends and stuff like that, but they don't do that anymore. So, but she was just saying like they're in a comfortable spot. And Cynthia agreed. She said they're in a respectable, I can't talk tonight, y'all. Respectable space. And, they just kind of working on whatever. Then they moved on to the babies of the show. So the Real House Moms or whatever. And they were showing like little scenes with the babies and stuff. And that was cute and everything like that. And Andy made like a little joke saying like one of the babies might be his potential girlfriend for his son and stuff like that. They showed a clip next week. His son is adorable. Then they asked Cynthia about quarantining with the family. And he was saying, like, how, because that's how that came up. He was saying, because somebody wrote a note in or whatever, child, the notes, saying that, why does Cynthia think she pregnant at 53? And Cynthia was like, girl, that was a joke. Like, I'm not having no more kids. And then Andy brought up how she is a stepmom to, two of the daughters and stuff. And then he was asking about the family quarantine and stuff like that. And then Alexis, Noel's girlfriend, apparently is staying with them. So I don't know if she was quarantined with them or she was just visiting. I don't know, child. But she there. And Andy was saying, like, he commended her for, supporting his daughter the way she did and stuff like that. And she was just like, I just want her to be happy. I just want her to, live her life and, just be free and whatever. So they just having a good time over there in LA, because she was saying everybody are enjoying themselves. I don't know. Ain't no Real Housewives of LA, wasn't it? For some reason, I want to say it was, and then it didn't do very well. But, we gotta see what's going to happen with Cynthia, because I don't know, because Mike, he gotta, like, I'm not saying she don't have legit businesses in Atlanta, because she do, but that flying back and forth, child, that wear on your body. So we gonna see what happens to Cynthia next year, or even if they're filming next year, child, who knows. Anyway, they started asking about the conversation that Mike and Cynthia was having about sex in front of the daughter. And actually, it was one of the friends who brought up sucking, child, her getting her knees for other reasons other than praying. So that really wasn't Cynthia's doing or whatever, but she was saying when they watched it back, they were cringing at it, but she don't really want to keep nothing from the kids or whatever. I feel uncomfortable talking about stuff around the children or whatever. And then they asked Marlo about her nephews, how she enjoying her nephews and stuff, and she's enjoying them or whatever. And he asked Nene about how she is, is she different with her nephews? And Nene was saying, like, yeah, she was like, yeah, she said, yeah, she different, but mostly her spending. Like, she don't shop as much as she used to or whatever. And then they show, like, a pic of Marlo and her nephews, and they was dressed, because Andy was like, yeah, but they be decked out. They be dressed just as bad as Marlo. Now, Marlo outfits tonight, and I forgot to mention this last week, her boob, like, one up here, one down here. I'm like, Marlo, get that together, girl. But other than that, she do be having some cute outfits. What else happened? Kenya, she loving her baby and whatnot. And then they was talking about how PJ be having, like, that serious face, like, like, why are you talking to me? Like, what can I do for you? And so Portia was saying, like, her mom told her that she was the same way, so her baby gonna be just like her when she grew up with a crown and everything. I said, oh Lord. Then they asked Candy, which I thought was a good question, how her relationship is with Blaze. And because, Candy was having difficulties feeling like she was going to connect to Blaze because she wasn't carrying her. So she was saying, like, it's no different. She feels like she birthed her or whatever. So she was telling people, like, don't feel like, I'm sorry, y'all, I had to turn that dang on. I had my notifications on. I had to turn them off real quick. She was saying, like, don't feel like you won't be connected to your baby, because she was saying, like, their bond is good or whatever. So she has a good bond with Blaze, which is good to hear, because she was afraid of that throughout the whole season. She didn't know how she was going to bond to the baby because she wasn't carrying the baby and stuff like that. So I'm happy that, she feels connected to the baby. What else happened, child? What is going on? Oh, that's what it was. I put something else in there. So they, because I'm trying to read my notes and I was doing shorthand, child. Anyway, somebody wrote a question saying that Kenya had bonded with Portia because of the babies. So they showed a clip, and I was like, wow, their babies grew a lot through the season, because episode, was it 1 or 2, when the babies was like little? But anyway, they were saying, like, how they bonded because they had babies and stuff. And Portia was saying, yeah, we had bonded like before, while we was pregnant and stuff like that. But then I don't know, like, I saw like how she was being shady and being like the same way throughout the show. So I just was like, throwing shade and stuff. And so Kenya was saying like, oh, well, since she became friends with Nene, she came like real extra and all this other stuff. I was like, why it always gotta be because she friends with Nene? Because Portia was shading the hell out of Kenya through the whole damn season, and that was before she made up with Nene. I was just like, if they don't get the beep out of here. And so Portia was saying like Kenya is the queen of shade, and she don't like when you throw something back at her, which is true. She don't like that shit because, and Portia was saying like Kenya had threw some shade about about Dennis, talking about some the doggy style thing. So she was saying like every time you throw shade at her, she want to play victim and all this other stuff, and she don't want to fess up to what she do or whatever. And I was like, she making a good ass point, because as soon as somebody say that Kenya was being shady, she want to pull something up 5 years ago. Well, she was being shady on this day 2000. It's like, girl, stop. Like, girl, bye. Just say that you know what it was. And then they brought up the whole Shamia story, and they was saying like, was it a lie or whatever? And because Andy was saying like it was weird that they Shamia would reach out to Kenya when they was just feuding a few years ago or whatever like that. And so Kenya was saying, well, I already posted what happened, and it was like a big misunderstanding and yada yada yada. And so Portia was like, well, I talked to Shamia and she said y'all have not been speaking since then or whatever like that. And so Portia was like, and then you lied because your receipts need to be thrown in the trash because that was 2 months prior. She wasn't even in labor and all this other stuff. And it was just like a whole bunch of nonsense. And then Kenya was like, yeah, you the makeup queen. Here go Portia. Yeah, I know. You see it. She was like, not that kind of makeup. I'm talking. And then she was like, Shamia said that Kenya a liar. She a liar. I was just like, oh my God. And so Andy was like, well, I'm confused. Is y'all good or no? And so Kenya was like, well, I don't know. She didn't call me a bitch throughout the whole show, so I don't know. And Portia was like, well, I called you one bitch, and I apologize or whatever, but you getting all upset about me calling you a bitch, but you the one throwing out the cunt word or whatever. I said, ooh, she got a point. She got a point. Then they was focused on Kenya. So they were saying, like, somebody wrote in saying, like, Kenya does, like, shady stuff or whatever, and she acts surprised that her actions have consequences or whatever. And she was like, well, I don't feel like I act surprised or whatever. And they was like, yes, you do. Yes, you do. And so Tanya was like, you do act surprised or whatever. And then Marlo was like, well, you take it as, like, a joke or whatever. You don't feel like it's nothing to it or whatever. And then somebody was like, was it Andy? He was saying like, did everybody no? Because Marlo was like, well, because somebody said something about it was fun shade or a joke, and so Marlo was like, well, was it fun shade or a joke when she came and crashed in my party or whatever? And then here goes Kenya saying, well, was it a joke or fun shade when Portia or Shamia came to my event and was drinking a water? This was like 6 years ago. And first of all, it was Shamia. And what that had to do with Marlo? What that had to do with Marlo? And Portia was like, well, I didn't drink nothing. That was Shamia. And so Kenya was just like, whatever. And so Andy took a poll, was like, well, who thought it was fun shade or something serious or whatever? So nobody, well, Cynthia raised her hand saying it was fun shade. I said, Cynthia, really? And so then somebody said something, and they was like, well, nobody laughed, and of course they showed a clip, and I think it was like uncomfortable laughter, like, I can't believe she really did this shit. Like it's funny, but it's like, did she really just do this? Is she really in here with a marching band or whatever? But it was like something serious. And so Candy was like, well, I thought it was funny, but I don't know about fun shade. I'm like, is it funny or like whatever, Candy? And so then Marlo. So then Marlo was like, that was like 4 to 5 years ago. No. So this is what it was. So I think somebody asked why she would do that or some shit like that. And so Kenya was like, well, Marlo was itching to get back at me or something like that. Because she said that, because when she said something like 4 to 5 years ago about her mom not being in her life or some shit like that, I can't remember verbatim what Marlo said, but y'all know if y'all watched the show what she said. And so she was saying like she was just itching to get back at her or whatever. And so Kenya was like, yeah, she did all that. And then so no, Marlo was like, that was like 4 to 5 years ago. That was 4 to 5 years ago. She was like, but no, you had just said something at the BBQ when you had said something about, was that at the barbecue? No, that was at the event. She was saying at the event you had said that you brought it up again. She was like, and then they showed the clip where Marlo said that you can't have unconditional love or something, and that's why Mark Daly don't love you unconditionally or whatever. I don't know if she was talking about her mama or she was just talking specifically about Mark. So she was like, are you serious? Are you serious? So then she said something about Marlo wanted to get back at her at the barbecue. And I was like, Kenya, you started with Marlo. So what? Like the clip they showed, to me, it looked like Kenya started with Marlo and Marlo had came back at her. So I was just like, huh? But what that got to do with you wanting to crash this girl wig line or whatever? Like, you was just, to me, it still was just uncalled for because that's that child business. Like, and so this is what was it? Because it was, I'm bunching it up because it was just a lot, child. But what was it? Shit. Let me get it. Oh, so then something about Marlo said something to her like something about her man, something about Kenya man or some shit like that. And then Kenya was like, what man you had on here other than the man that you was fucking with Nene or some shit that you and Nene was fucking together? I was like, oh shit, wait a minute. And then it was like, I wasn't sleeping on nobody. Don't you put me in that mess. Don't you put me in that mess. And Marlo like, oh, her puss, so she can't keep a man with that puss. And they were like, oh Lord, what? So, and so, here go Nene talking about the man social. What she say? The man over there social distancing just to get away from her ass. I don't know who she was talking to in the background. But Nene kept talking to them people. And so then Kenya called Nene ugly. She kept calling her ugly, talking about her face and all this other stuff. And I was like, that's going too far. And so somebody said, was it Marlo talking about you go after her biz, but you can't go after hers or some shit like that. And then that's where the barbecue thing came up. And then Kenya started calling Marlo a professional clown. And then Andy was like, so you can fuck up. What did he say? So it's okay for you to fuck up other people's business, but not somebody to fuck up your business. I said, oh, you better read, Andy. You better read. And then Andy asked about the see you next Tuesday word. I don't know, I already said it, but I ain't gonna say it again. The see you next Tuesday word. And she says that she was angry at the time, so she apologized again to Tanya. And Andy was like, do you believe her? Tanya was like, I don't know. Like, she make up an excuse for everything. So like this one time she gotta say that she was wrong because she really was wrong. Like, how can you actually defend that? Like, you just can't. And so then they asked Nene, did Kenya get what she deserved in her marriage or some shit like that? Nene was silent because she brought the cookie lady. Nene ain't say nothing. And then Kenya was like, so if I deserve that, did you deserve that Greg was talking to the help or whatever? I said, oh, the help? I missed that in the blogs. But so then Nene was like, yeah, I deserved it or whatever. And then they show her podcast where like she was blasting Greg out or whatever. And so here go Nene. Well, who your man messing with? Because he all the way up there in New York and you don't know who the hell he messing with. He could be messing with anybody. You don't know. Here go Kenya seeming like she unfazed. Like, well, I don't know. Like, he could be messing with somebody. Like, at least he not messing with the help. And I'm like, no, like no, that's still wrong. Like, I understand you trying not to give her no energy or nothing like that. But no, because y'all married. So, no, that still wouldn't be right. Unless y'all got an open relationship and you ain't tell nobody, girl. I don't know. But anyway, Marlo was calling her a fake ass bitch. And they were saying like, how did everybody know they was talking about Tanya? Because she claimed she wasn't talking about Tanya, and everybody like, yeah, we knew you was talking about Tanya. And then she was like, well, everybody didn't know. And Portia was like, because Kenya was like, well, Portia thought I was talking about her. Portia was like, girl, I thought you was talking about me for like 2 seconds, and then I knew you was talking about somebody else. And so then Candy threw her underneath the bus and was like, yeah, we all knew that she was talking about Tanya at the table or whatever like that, because somebody said something about it, and that's how they all knew. So they was like, boom, like, you can't make up no more excuses. Like, you trying to make it seem like you wasn't talking about Tanya, but everybody at the table knew that you was talking about Tanya, because the more you kept talking, Candy was like, the more you kept talking, the more I knew you wasn't talking about me, you was talking about Tanya, because it clicked, like, oh, okay. Cynthia was saying, like, she held on to that information for a long time, because Cynthia had told Tanya in Canada that Kenya was talking about her. So Tanya had already knew prior, because I think they showed us them talking in Atlanta and not in Canada. I could be wrong, but I know Cynthia told her, but I'm not sure like when she told her. But at any rate, they were saying like what happened? Oh, Cynthia was saying like Kenya had the information months prior to Canada, but she wasn't going to say nothing unless they got into some type of tiff or something. And I was just like, that's just stupid. Like, why wouldn't you just say something? And if you wanted to tell her, like, if you supposed to be her friend, like, why would you hold it? And if y'all got into an argument, you be like, oh, that's why your husband talking to the cookie. Like, that's just stupid and childish. But anyway, Tanya was saying, like, she was all excited when she got the wig or whatever. And then she was basically saying to Kenya, like, you was in everybody's relationship. You was having, like, this intimate conversation or whatever. We was asking you about a wig, and then you lied. And so Kenya still says that she did not lie about wearing a wig. Marlo asked her. She was saying, like, no, I'm not wearing no wig. And she ain't want to talk about it. If you don't have no shame and you wearing a wig every now and again to cover up your 24 inches, then why couldn't you just say that she was wearing a wig at the table? Yeah, bitch, I'm wearing a wig and you are too. So is everybody at this table. And what? Like, whatever. Like, what was the big deal? I still don't understand what the big deal was that she wear wigs to protect her hair. I still don't understand what the big deal about that was. And so Kenya was pretty much over Tanya. She didn't want to talk to Tanya no more. She was saying she was bored with her and all this other stuff. Tanya was getting bucked, talking about something. You've been talking the whole show. You just need to be quiet and let somebody else talk. And she was like, girl, you've been here for like 30 minutes. Like, whatever. I was like, Tanya is not going to win nothing with goddamn Kenya. Kenya was calling her corny. Here go Andy talking about something. She's not corny. She's Canadian. I was like, Andy, stop. Just stop. And so Cynthia was saying like, oh, because Portia was like, I have a question from Portia from Atlanta. I said, girl, she was like, do you think that Kenya acted alone in bringing the cookie lady to light to shame you? And so Tanya was like, well, I believe it was a main robber and then a getaway driver. So she believes that Cynthia was the getaway driver. Cynthia was saying like she did not know that Kenya was going to do that at the table, and she was very upset with her. And she was upset with Tanya too, because she says that Tanya didn't stand up and say like, yo, they were sticking up for me or whatever. Because they made it seem like they was just sitting at the table, taking that all in, eating cookies, and not saying nothing to Kenya about what was going on. And I believe that. I believe that it was a lot of behind the scenes. And I also believe that Tanya probably could say something, but didn't want to, because she felt like they was all ganging up on her or putting her in a bad light or putting something on her marriage or whatever like that. Because she probably was hurt and was just like, well, why would y'all even allow her to do some bullshit like this? So I don't know. She didn't really say anything like that. But Candy was saying, because it was something between Portia and Candy, because on Candy's show, Candy didn't say anything. But Portia was like, oh, so no comment says a lot. And so Candy came back and was like, this was all on like Twitter or some shit. Candy came back and was saying, no, my silence mean I don't give a F or whatever. So Andy was like, well, why did you come so hard at her for saying that or whatever? And she was like, well, I wasn't even in a conversation with the cookie lady, so I don't even understand why I needed to have an opinion about their relationship and stuff like that. And Tanya was saying it was principle, which it was. And so then Candy wanted to bring something up that happened to her like 6 years ago, where somebody brought this lady. I remember that episode, but was it Sheree? it was somebody who brought this lady who was basically saying that Todd was an opportunist and all this other bullshit. So, and that's what Candy was just like, well, you saying he came up or whatever, or some shit. And so she was basically saying like she stood up for herself by herself. She not gonna sit there and save Tanya. She was saying like if I was there, then perhaps I would have said something. I was just like, girl, bye. And I already told y'all about her being connected to Blaze. I swore that was early in the show, but it was later on. And then they was talking about Kayla being in New York and Ty, you know, they have their ups and downs or whatever, but for the most part, they get along. And I think he was saying, Candy said that Kayla was still in New York because everything got locked down and whatnot. And she was up there to finish her design stuff. But then she was saying like Mama Joyce and Todd is in a better place. And since Blaze was born, they getting along together for now, child. Hopefully it lasts. And Candy was like, I wish y'all stop saying that my mama want my money. She don't want my money. She is well off before I had money, and she gonna be well off after or whatever. I was just like, all right, whatever. Then they started talking to Eva, and this where it got like kind of emotional and stuff like that. Eva was saying like she was being sued by the donor, and because he wanted the name to be reversed back to his name. Child support, and then he wanted custody. Boy, bye. So she said he came to Atlanta and acted a whole fool in a courtroom. He got arrested. Like, really? And you trying to get custody? Child, bye. Andy was asking, like, how did their relationship get, you know, to that point? She was saying, well, I'm going to be real. We didn't really have a relationship. I was doing me. He was cute. We slept together. I got pregnant. Then we was trying to make something serious. And then, oh shoot, my TV didn't came on, y'all. Give me 1 second. I'm sorry, y'all. I had my TV on pause and the dang on thing just clicked back on. But anyway, what was I saying? Oh, she was saying that they weren't in a serious relationship or whatever like that. But at some point they were trying to get in a serious relationship, but he was abusive to her. He beat her so bad that when she called the cops, they was like, you have to press charges or whatever. So she did, and she was saying like her life has completely been different for the last 5 years, and everybody, you know, cheered her on and clapped and stuff like that. And Andy was saying like, you're a strong woman, and sometimes it's easy to fall in love with the wrong guy or fall with the wrong guy for all that matter. And then she started crying because she, you know, she said she hates talking about him. She don't like talking about him. And she had also said that the greatest thing out of their relationship or was whatever was Marley. And she was saying like if she didn't have regrets or anything like that because, you know, she can't redo it because no, not redo it. She said she doesn't wish that she didn't go through it because if she did, she wouldn't have her baby and stuff like that. So like everybody was just like, oh my goodness, when she walked off and started crying, everybody was looking down and looking sad and stuff like that. And then Kenya, she asked because she go call Eva, whatever, because Eva had stepped off the scene for like a little bit. And he was like, yeah, you can go call her and stuff. So Kenya was off screen and then Eva was off screen. And so they went to Portia. So they was asking Portia about the whole Dennis thing. And of course, they showed the clips and stuff. And so they had show where she was on what was it? Watch What Happens Live or something like that. And where she brought up the whole not the relationship, you know, the scene, the pictures where he was in a restaurant with the 4 girls or 3 girls, some shit like that. And so Andy on this reunion, he asked her like, how y'all doing and stuff. She was like, well, we quarantined together and we doing good and stuff. He here with me and whatnot. And so it was just like, okay. And he was saying, so what about the fresh reports and stuff? So she was like, she was upset, but she didn't want to comment and, you know, make a scene and, you know, comment on this other stuff. So she said he went to like this party, this club or whatever. And he said he was going to go to like this after party, but she ain't know. Did she say she knew he was going to go to the after party and she didn't? I can't remember. But anyway, he went out and the people that he was out with was his friends. But she basically told him like, you can't be doing shit like that because that looks bad. Like, you out there with these girls. Don't nobody know what's going on with these girls and stuff like that. So it was just a mess, child. So she was basically telling him like, look, you can't do no shit like that. So they worked it out and stuff, and she wasn't surprised by what the girl said. Andy asked her, did she move too fast? Of course, she agreed that she moved too fast, but she's a hopeless romantic. She was in love with him. They wanted the same things, but she realized that in order to be in a relationship and build a good foundation, that both parties got to drop the baggage before they can move along, and they both didn't do that. So she said they doing good or whatever. And Andy asked about the huge wedding, and she said like basically he don't want to be in a big wedding because the people that are going to attend the wedding, he feels as though they're going to be judging him because of the whole situation. And pretty much they probably will. They probably will, because I know if I was there, I'd be like, this nigga. Like, they are. So, it's small wedding, big wedding. I mean, unless he just want to have the family there, they going to be judging him. Like, whatever. And Lauren probably going to be judging his ass, too. And she in the family. Okay? Anyway, what was going on? Oh, so then Andy asked why Candy was staying out the business, and Candy was like, because she trying to rebuild her relationship with Portia, so she didn't want to go. She didn't seem like it was right for her to go into Portia's relationship business, basically. And so here you go, Nene. So you see why I don't want to talk about Wendy and my relationship. They was like, did you really just try to compare yourself to this Portia? And then it's like, that's not the same thing. that's not the same thing. And so Andy was like, well, I'm confused because I thought y'all was getting along during this whole season, but now I don't know. And so they brought up the whole thing about Nene being on a show. She was like, it wasn't my show. It wasn't nobody else's show, whatever. It was my YouTube show. And I was talking about how people have different spinoffs and all this other stuff. And it's kind of weird that they got spinoffs and blah, blah, blah. And Candy was like, well, who was you talking about? And she was like, I don't got to answer to you. So then they get back and forth. I said, are you serious right now? And so she was like, well, you need to answer to me and whatever like that. Won't you just say, Miss Keep It Real, Miss Keep It Real? I said, why is y'all so hype? Like, Nene, just say you was talking about Candy. But Andy said it's either Candy, Burris, or somebody else that gets spinoffs or something like that. And so they was arguing, child. They was like back and forth, back and forth. Andy had muted them. Andy had ended up muting them. They didn't even know they was muted. And they was still going at it. And they was like, y'all, we can't hear. Ain't no sound. Y'all need to be quiet. Ain't no sound. We can't hear y'all or whatever. So then he brought them back on or something. And so he was just, Nene was talking about something. Go learn from the lunchbox. Go learn in the lunchbox. Candy was like, well, go hide in my lunchbox, bitch. Or some shit like that. And it was just a hot ass mess, child. Andy was still trying to figure it out later on. Nene said she texted Candy and told her that it wasn't about her. And what happened? She said something like she still came back. Oh, then they went back and forth on Twitter or whatever. Because she said she texted Nene said she texted Candy and to tell Candy that it wasn't about her. But then Candy responded on air about what happened or whatever. And so then they started arguing again. Nene was saying something about bag down and unforgettable, child. She was so upset. She was getting her words all up. Look, I can't even get the goddamn word. She was getting the word all mixed up or whatever. And so then they was going back and forth, and Candy was talking about something. You ain't better than I'm better than your motherfucking brain, bitch. I was just like, y'all just doing too much. Like, is it that serious? Okay, you getting spinoffs. Just say she getting spinoffs. Everybody know Candy done had about 11 goddamn spinoffs from Real Housewives of Atlanta. I don't think I watched not one. But she done had a whole bunch of spinoffs. And then Candy was saying, like, it was ironic that you said that when I was about to put out my new show or something. Was she coming out with another show? I ain't know nothing about it. So, like, unless it's something about the Shy. But other than that, I don't know nothing about what show Candy's spinning off on. But at any rate, they was just doing too much. And so they moved on to Kenya and Cynthia. And he was saying like, oh, y'all best friends or foes. And then they showed the whole scenes and clips. And the whole time they showing the scenes and clips, Nene was saying, they showed a scene about Nene saying that when she gave the cheese and crackers and stuff like that, and that's when Cynthia was saying it was all bullshit and stuff. And so she was like, So you could see she was getting upset. And then all she kept saying while they were still showing the scenes was everybody hating, always hating, always hating. I was like, who is she talking to? So then they were saying like, and she was writing something, and was she off the camera? I think she had already set her camera down. Like Nene had already closed her laptop, but you could see the letter, but you couldn't really see like the whole letter or whatever. And so somebody was like, they wasn't really paying her no attention or whatever. And so then somebody said something about it was the letter or whatever. And they were saying, if Nene is such a toxic friend, then what would you call Kenya? And so Cynthia was talking about tell why she was calling, was saying, because she was saying she didn't say Nene was a toxic friend, she just said toxic behaviors. And while she was talking, they was like, wait a minute, where's Nene at? Andy was like, oh my God, she not here again. So they realized she left. And somebody said Nene done left for good. And that's where it ended. Next week, they showing Yvonne gonna be on here, child. Nene still ain't back. And then we see Cynthia saying, well, why would Yvonne be here, but Nene not here? So obviously Nene lying and all that stuff. So I was like, but did she know Yvonne was going to be on the show? Like, did she know she was going to be on the reunion? And then we see Yvonne basically throwing Nene ass underneath the bus. So this shit finna be real interesting in part 3. Yeah, that was the end of part 2. So y'all tell me what y'all thought about this reunion. Like I said, it was kind of dry, but I done gave y'all 36 minutes, so obviously it had something going on. But y'all know I was stuttering and talking about other shit all together. But anyway, if y'all like this review, go ahead and hit that thumbs up button. And if you are not subscribed to my channel, go ahead and hit that subscription button and hit the notification bell to be notified for when I drop new videos. All right, y'all. Until next time, peace.